Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Ruth Aguele, and my sign language interpreter is John Bamidele. Let's bring you the headlines. National Universities Commission unveils blueprint to enhance academic standards in Nigerian universities. Stakeholders call for greater interventions to combat malaria. Plus, Wagner leader Yevgeny Prigozhin dies on board crashed Russian plane. Ten people, including Wagner leader Yevgeny Prigozhin, were reportedly killed in a private jet that crashed in Moscow. A Wagner-linked Telegram channel, Grey Zone, reported that the jet was shot down by air defenses in Tver region north of Moscow. The last public appearance of the Russian-based machinery leader was on Monday this week when he appeared at a location believed to be Mali, West Africa. Prigozhin led a failed mutiny against the Russian armed forces in June. He has been a close ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin, assisting his administration in the war against Ukraine. Born 1st June 1961, Prigozhin is a Russian mercenary leader and former close confidant of Russian President Vladimir Putin until he launched a rebellion in June 2023. Russia is yet to make an official statement on the crash incident and the death of the Wagner leader. Zimbabweans voted in a closely watched elections in which President Emerson Mnangagwa is seeking a second term. Charles Alpha reports.
At least 6.6 million people were registered to vote. There were delays in opening some polling stations, especially in the capital, as an opposition stronghold raised concerns. The late deployment of voting materials, the Electoral Commission said, led to the delays in polls. In Harare's oldest suburb, Mbari, voters cast ballots in more than a dozen large green tents set up as polling stations on a dusty field facing run-down apartment blocks and empty wooden market stands. President Emerson Mnangagwa, 80, who came to power after a coup that deposed a late ruler Robert Mugabe in 2017, squares off against Nelson Chamisa, 45. Mnangagwa cast his ballot in his hometown of Kwekwe, central Zimbabwe.
And my duty as a citizen of the country to decide who should be president of this country. I made the decision that I know him. Well, I think this time around there's been more awareness than in the past. I think we shall have a higher turnout this time around. And besides, we now have more than 6 million people registered as voters. Last time we had only about 5 million, so there's 1.5 million more. And I think this time around there was quite publicity.
Your key message to the nation?
Peace. During, before, and after. Peace.
If somebody says to not go and vote, obviously you won't go and vote for your own party, but it also spells what? Victory for the other party.
The opposition is hoping to rid a wave of discontent over the southern African countries' economic woes that include graft, high inflation, unemployment, and widespread poverty. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Chinese President Xi Jinping has called on BRICS countries to expand political and security cooperation to uphold peace and tranquility. While addressing the 15th BRICS summit, President Xi said the Cold War is still mentally haunting the world and the geopolitical situation is getting tensed. The BRICS countries, he said, should keep to the direction of peaceful development and consolidate the BRICS strategic partnership, adding that members should make good use of the BRICS foreign ministers' meeting. The meeting of the High Representatives on National Security and other mechanisms support issues concerning their respective core interests and enhance coordination on international and regional levels. At least 18 laborers working on a railway bridge being constructed across a ravine in India's northeastern Mizoram state were killed when it collapsed, with several others missing. Charles Alpha reports.
The incident occurred as a result of a metal frame that toppled off towering columns. This is in addition to the collapse of a flyover onto a busy street in Kolkata, which killed at least 26 people in 2016. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
After an intensive 4-year period of collaboration among esteemed academics, the National Universities Commission (NUC) has unveiled a comprehensive blueprint aimed at bolstering academic standards within Nigerian universities. The blueprint, which is a culmination of extensive brainstorming sessions, was unveiled during a high-profile stakeholders colloquium in Abuja. Abdulmalik Hassan reports.
At the heart of the colloquium was a focused discussion on the core curriculum and minimum academic standards. Members of the academia convened to delve deeply into these critical aspects, reflecting the commitment of the educational community towards elevating the quality of higher education in the country.
Of the CCMAs went through a profoundly vigorous and painstaking process by teams of experts drawn from the nation's universities, comprising professors, professional and regulatory bodies, while the private sector was represented by the Nigerian Economic Summit Group and all other relevant stakeholders. This principle allows for a good deal of adaptation that suits not only local peculiarities of the universities, but most importantly, provides all universities opportunities to carve a niche for themselves in areas of comparative advantage.
A paper presentation was made during this session to shed light on the intricacies of the new curriculum.
The curriculum, the main concern was the relevance and adequacy of the curriculum to the needs of Nigeria. We cannot continue to have our universities and we don't see the benefits that society derives from the university system. That means we have serious issues.
Deliberations also focused on shared dedication to ensure its seamless implementation, which progressive measures are slated to be rolled out starting September 2023. Meanwhile, the blueprint introduces a transformative shift in educational landscape, introducing 17 disciplines that will define the academic landscape of Nigerian universities by aligning courses with contemporary needs and global trends. Abdulmalik Hassan, NTA News.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris Malagi, says promoting Nigeria's unity and diversity is non-negotiable under the current administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This was when he received members of the Governing Council of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations during his official engagement visit. Salihu Guanara reports.
Mohammed Idris Malagi took the driver's seat to pilot the affairs of the ministry as the 34th indigenous minister. Coincidentally, this is the minister's first official engagement and among the last functions for the president of Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, who is leading the Institute Council members on a solidarity visit ahead of its annual general meeting. Having been a member of NIPR for more than 3 decades, the minister promised that the renewed Ministry of Information and National Orientation will be accountable and transparent to Nigerians.
And I've also received this briefing from Mr. President that we should put national reorientation at the core of our affairs. It's not just about disseminating information, but all of you will agree with me that Nigeria requires so much of reorientation to reset our nation so that together we will all build the country that we all desire. Mr. President has said it severally since he assumed office that Nigeria is our country and there is no north, there is no south, but there is Nigeria. All of us, those in this industry and those in other sectors, have to join hands together for the benefit of our people.
President, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, Mukhtar Sirajo, commended President Bola Tinubu for appointing the right people into the Federal Executive Council, adding that the Minister of Information and National Orientation is a passionate and committed member, as well as the former chairman of Kaduna State chapter of NIPR, whose wealth of experience will help to further build the image of Nigeria.
But I want to assure you on behalf of the Institute that in us, you have a battalion that is going to rally around you to ensure that whatever we can do, professionally and otherwise, to ensure that you not only succeed, but you exceed expectations.
Documents on Citizens Summit on Peace and Stability in Nigeria, initiated by NIPR, was presented to the minister as the institute sought after the ministry's support for the development of NIPR and its members. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
The Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Nanji, has set the ball rolling with a new approach and expectations for the science and technology ecosystem. The unconventional strategy, he says, will focus more on innovation and result-oriented actions as a ministry.
We are here to innovate, not to merely follow routines. Our swift and inventive actions will define us as a ministry driven by innovation. Meetings with directors and heads of agencies will swiftly clarify our shared objectives, therefore guiding our strategic action plans. Let us be result-oriented, proactive, and enthusiastic. Our leadership in innovation will contribute to the prosperity of our great nation.
Nanji appealed for unwavering commitment from members of his team to achieve the noble goals of transforming the fortunes of the country and guiding it into a knowledge-based new world economy. From the judiciary, the arraignment of the suspended governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, has been stalled for the second time. Godwin Emefiele won Sa'adatu Yaro and a firm linked to Yaro, who is the second defendant in this matter, were to be arraigned before the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory. Emefiele and two others are being tried for an alleged procurement fraud running to 6.9 billion naira. The defendants will be facing 20-count charges preferred against them by the federal government. At the time, NTA News visited the court for the arraignment slated for Wednesday, 23rd August 2023. The matter was not listed in the case list. Emefiele and two other defendants were equally not in court. It will be recalled that the presiding judge, Justice Hamza Muazu, on Thursday last week adjourned the matter to Wednesday, 23rd August 2023, due to the absence of Sa'adatu Yaro, who is the second defendant. Let's take a breather. We'll be back.
You are going through the brunt of the fuel subsidy. I know the pressure and the demand and lamentation, but you understand it much better. You are the one who understands the labor pain. That is only after that pain you see the smile of a child that you are relieved and forget the pain completely. And that's what we are going through economically. You are the one who can educate better the public to understand that we have to go through this. Cartel and thieves have been raping us and fleecing this country before now. You say enough is enough. We are taking our country back.
Welcome back. On 5th July, the Federal Capital Territory Administration summoned a meeting of G7 Technical Committee involving heads of the various security formations of the 6 contiguous states to brainstorm on best ways to address security challenges confronting the zone. Onotu Yakubu in this report brings us a situation assessment.
The stakeholders believe it is imperative that the G7 provides opportunity to strengthen intelligence gathering and sharing as the situation were then to confront the upsurge in transborder criminal activities across the bounded states.
The FCT has in the recent times witnessed an upsurge in criminal activities, ranging from kidnappings and kidnappers masquerading as scavengers, stabbing, carjacking, etc. And even more worrisome is the fact that this criminal element freely traverse the FCT and adjoining states in perpetrating their criminal activities and then seek refuge in the neighboring states.
Commissioner of Police FCT Haruna Garba is chairman of the technical committee. He maintained that the meeting seeks to, amongst targets, ensure the review of operational models and strategies between member states to contain interstate crime and criminality and keep the nation's capital a desired destination for growth and development.
It's imperative that we acknowledge the gravity of the task at hand. Our dear states stand at a critical junction where security concerns have become increasingly complex and technologically based, which require coordinated effort from all the stakeholders.
It has been several weeks since that critical meeting. Today, Niger State, flanking the nation's capital to the west, and Nasarawa to the northeast, have recently been described by security observers as hotbed for banditry. What is the implication for the security of FCT, and what steps are being put in motion to address same?
They missed the point. You know, they would have taken every information that was passed on to them and see how to utilize the information.
While stakeholders applaud the initiatives, FCT residents are hopeful upon these proactive strategies to achieve a mission-tight target for respite. In Abuja, Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
A magistrate court in Cross River State has sentenced 14 miners to 6 months imprisonment for illegal mining and attack on park rangers, which led to their death in Cross Rivers National Park. Charles Alpha will tell us more about it.
Judge of the Akampa Magistrate Court, Okokonesian, found 14 miners guilty of illegal mining and illegal entry of the park, which they pleaded guilty to. In a statement signed by the Conservator General of National Park Service, Ibrahim Goni, the judge said the activity of the illegal miners in the park contravened the services laws. The judge added that the violation left the court with no option than to jail each of the miners for 6 months or a fine of 200,000 naira each as provided for by the services law. The Conservator General said the convicted illegal miners have been confined to Correctional Service Center in Calabar to serve their jail terms, having failed to pay their fines. In a similar development, 37 illegal miners were arrested at the Old Oyo National Park, while 2 of its officers were killed during a joint patrol operation to curb their illegal activities at the Apata Abuaxis of the park last month.
It's for the federal government with other agency, military and paramilitary, to invade that place and bring an end to this kind of notorious acts.
The illegal miners have been handed over to the Nigerian Correctional Center in Ibadan. The Conservator General called on all stakeholders of wildlife and environmental management in Nigeria and beyond to join the service in ridding the parks of illegal miners and other wildlife offenders to allow the service achieve the purpose of its establishments for national development. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Private sector-driven mosquito control interventions will offer avenues for innovation, resource allocation and collaboration in the fight against mosquito-borne diseases in the country. Adebola Brookstein tells us more about the 2023 World Mosquito Day celebration in Nigeria.
Mosquitoes may seem like a minor nuisance, but their ability to transmit diseases and their overall impact on human health, productivity, and the environment make them a significant concern in many parts of the world. Efforts to control mosquito population and reduce disease transmission remain critical for public health and well-being. Key players in pest control and environmental health are collaborating in this road walk to raise awareness on the detrimental impacts of mosquitoes on society, at the same time educate people on effective measures to combat their harmful activities. The group at the internally displaced persons camp at the new Kuchigoro fumigated the environment and presented to occupants odorless no mosquito insecticide sprays.
More than all the wars we have fought, more than all the other scourges we have had, the mosquito has killed more people than all those wars.
The rural areas, sensitizing them so that they will clean up their environment, make sure that they don't have stagnant waters where a mosquito breed.
Partners also converged on the International Conference Center, where they deliberated on the need for stringent regulatory frameworks to ensure the safety and efficacy of private sector interventions, as well as to prevent unintended environmental consequences and health.
And this is an occasion that we envisage will really bring to the fore, to the front burner, the mosquito, that it is really the issue. Once we are able to get it right in terms of controlling the activities of mosquito, the other value chain of malaria control will just be a walkover, like footballers would say.
It has been recognized that vector-borne diseases account for more than 17% of infectious diseases, including zoonotic diseases, causing more than 7,000 deaths annually. Diseases like dengue fever, yellow fever, and Rift Valley fever, and others.
Collaborative efforts between public and private sector, guided by strong governance and ethical considerations, they agree, will ultimately lead to more effective and sustainable mosquito control strategies in the country. Adebola Brookstein, NTA News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu warmly felicitates with the Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abubakar III, and the Sokoto Sultanate Council as the Reverend Royal Father and spiritual leader of Muslims in Nigeria turns 67 on August 24, 2023. The President shares in this moment of joy and thanksgiving with the leader of the Qadiriya Sufi order, who also serves as head of Jama'atu Nasr Islam, also known as the Society for the Support of Islam, and President General of the Nigerian Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs. President Tinubu acknowledges the sacrifices and selflessness of the Sultan of Sokoto, who has, since his assumption of office in November 2006, worked assiduously for the sustenance of peaceful coexistence in the country and beyond, personally traveling, intervening, mediating, and chairing meetings on the need for harmony. And that concludes the news. Thank you very much for your time. I'm Ruth Aguele. My sign language interpreter is John Bamidele.